Clear the link. Really clear chat. The link that I sent yesterday. Yesterday. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. My part. You're here. So this is what we'll be recreating today. It contains the concepts that we learned on the first day of JavaScript, and just solidifying the concept and a little additional ones. If statements, tutapitia statements here. So when we look on our final product, our final application, telling us we create a profile, it has an input. We have how many input? 1, 2, 3, 4, and a button and another paragraph. And when we click on the button, it displays a card with the information that's supposed to be on the input. I refresh, I enter my details, I fill the input with my details. Then I click on the button. You can see the card contains the input. I entered my name, age, says I'm an adult, and I add age 12, saying I'm under 18, and my hobbies. The hobbies is supposed to be comma separated, or I can just place one. Yeah, so the hobbies, it's a list, age is the number, then the name is a string, the color is also a string. When I change the color to blue, look what happens on the card. The card also changes color to blue. When I add a purple, the card also changes color to purple. So, so my lovely, our application is working. My lovely, our application is working. No question. So we go straight into developing now this application. Let me create a new folder. Let me create a new folder. Let me remove this one. So we begin. This is a new file named Javascript. So the first thing that we start, we create the file. We start with the files that we need. We need a HTML file, index.html. We need a CSS file for the styling, styles.css. And we need a JavaScript file for the functionality of this website. So I'll name it, let me name it index.js, index.js. Then we'll start with our HTML. We have to start by creating the structure of the website. After creating the structure, we'll create now the styling. For the styling, we go to the functionality, JavaScript. So step 1, HTML, step 2, CSS, step 3, JavaScript. So we start by adding the what's it called? The HTML structure, exclamation mark, enter. So here let me remove the terminal. Then inside the body tag, we have a title, create your profile. Create your profile. A heading. This is a heading tag, level 1. It's the level 1. So heading level 1 is written like this. H1, equal to H1. This is heading level 1, heading level 2, H2. Then the title hapa juu, unaona hapo penye imeandikwa interactive profile card hapa juu. This is the title. Currently, when I run this file go live, when I run it, unaona imeandikwa document, but it's supposed to be interactive profile card. So I'll change this one here, the title. Title ni ya hapa juu, interactive profile, and I save it, I change. So now they are similar. The title is similar. Then this is heading, email level 1. Heading level 1 is H1. Heading level 2, H2, H3, and so on. So the first one is create your profile. Copy that text. Niweke hapa ndani ya heading level 1. Save it. It's a little bit bigger. So let me, I can choose to style it and reduce the size, or I can choose to pick another level of heading. Naweza amua niweke heading level 2, or I style it using CSS to reduce the font. So for me, the easier one is reducing the heading level. Then zoom. So yeah, I think that this one is not centered. This one is centered. We'll style it later. First, we create the structure. Then next, we have how many inputs? 1, 2, 3, 4 inputs. And I close it. Type. Let me start with the string. Type text, not text string. Type text. Have 4. And the input for age, enter your age. It's supposed to be of type number, because age is a number. It's supposed to be of type number, the input. So apart here, enter age, when we try entering a text, hauwezi weka any type of text. It will only accept numbers. Allah imekubali letter. Oh, E is a number. E is also a number. You don't, if you've done computer science or math, kuna kunga na this symbol in the calculator. E is a number. That's why it's accepting E. A scientific number. But if you try entering any other letter, it's not going to accept only numbers. Also remember yeah, I think E is a number. Inakuanga kwa calculator. Umeelewa hapo? Let me remove this. Let me remove the inputs. Then, as you can see, the first input has a placeholder. Enter your name, placeholder, enter your name. Placeholder itakuja tu hapo after type text, then placeholder. This is an attribute, key value. Then number, it also has a placeholder. Placeholder equals to enter your age. Let me save it and confirm. Yep, correct. Your age. Age tukijaribu kuweka any type of text itakuwa inaingia. Hii peke yake ndio inaingia because number according to mathematics. Then favorite color, the same thing, placeholder. Favorite color. Then we have enter hobbies, placeholder, enter hobbies. Hii ni comma separate. Separate them with commas. Separate them with commas. So that when we pick it using JavaScript, it will be able to store it in a list. Because hobbies, let's say we have multiple hobbies. So we have to separate them using a comma, be number one, comma, number two, comma, so that when we pick them using JavaScript, it will be easier to store it in a list. Then we have a button, create profile, create profile. Then what else? We have now this card. Let me refresh it so that you can have a look at it when on its normal state. On its normal state, it's only showing the heading, your profile. The normal state, it doesn't have any input, and the inputs are empty. So the card is also empty. The card to display the profile is empty. But iko hapa mahali, but it's hidden. It has the style hidden. When we click on create profile, I change the style to display block. I change now the style to display block. Now it's visible. Get hapo. Oh, let me add. So what else? So we get the application is working. This one, the normal state is display hidden, discard. But when we click on it, it's changing the style from display hidden, not hidden, display none to display block. Okay, we continue. So the next thing is the title. Create profile. No, your profile. Let me use the heading level 2 also. 2, your profile. Then we want to let me click on the button so that we can see how our card looks like. So that we'll add a styling of display none to hide it. Then after we've added JavaScript, when we click on it, we'll change the styling to display block to show it. So first things first, this card, it's inside, it's a container by itself. It's containing this text over here. So to take a div tag, div. Let me add a comment. Profile. Then within the containers, we have two paragraph tags, age, age. Let me first enter the details so that we can see clearly what's happening, the true nature of the profile. Color, let's use green. Then I click on create profile. So it has a name. This is the name from the input name, age, then this age, then under 18, then hobbies. So the name is dynamic, but when we are creating a dynamic website, first we start with a static data. Then like a placeholder inaishikilia to hapo before we dive into the JavaScript. So we'll need to enter details yenye itashikilia tu so that it will enable us to create the correct structure of this profile card. Get. So we'll use the static data to create the structure of this profile card. Then later, when you dive into JavaScript, we'll remove the static data and add dynamic. So first things first, we have the name, paragraph, add a static name. Then we have the age, paragraph, age, and okay, well, but just Nona, the age is bold, and this one is like normal, the normal text. This one, the age is in bold. So tutaweka the age inside a span tag. I think both of them will be inside a span tag because this age is dynamic, so haifai kuwa pamoja. They're not supposed to be like this together. How are we going to change the age alone? So I think this age will be in a span tag, and this age number 12 will be in a span tag. So that later, when we want to change the age alone, we'll target the span tag of the age only, the age number 12. This is what I mean. Span, age ndio itaingia kwanza. This will enable us to make the word age be in bold. Then the second span will help us change the age dynamically, so that when I change here the age to 14, create profile. So now the age is changing. So we'll be targeting this age using the JavaScript. Anyone who went through the code found like another way of doing it. Anyone has another suggestion of how they can simplify this? But according to me naona I'll have to separate age and the word age and the number age. Or I could do this. I could just add the age here. Then I add another paragraph, number 12. Let me see how it looks like. Shida the age number inaenda chini. That's the problem. Not in one line. This first paragraph is in the other line. So me now the simpler way, according to me, using two span tags. The first span will help us style this word age. Second one will help us make this number 12 dynamic so that it changes according to the input we have specified. The next saying is you are under 18. Hapa sinaona nikiweka 20 ina change, you are an adult. You are an adult. Then nikiweka 12, 12 you are under 18. So how are we achieving this? Hii tunatumia if tag, if not if tag, if statement in Java, but to add it in HTML, we'll do this, add a paragraph tag, then we'll use static data. Tutatumia static data like a placeholder tu ni placeholder to help us structure the website first. It's not the final result. Weke you are under 18. Ukienda Javascript tunaona vile tutaifanya ikuwe dynamic, tutaweka hapa 20, it's changing to 20. You are an adult. But here ni static, it's helping us structure this website. Then what else? Hobbies. Hobbies also inside a paragraph. But now the word hobbies, it's in bold, so it will be in its own span tag. Then within it, hobbies ndani. Then after this span tag, let me add pages. Then after the span tag ya hobbies, we have a list of hobbies that is comma separated. So pia itakuwa inside a span tag. It will help us dynamically add the hobbies. Vile tumefanya hapa na the age, pia tutafanya hapa na hobbies. So nikiongeza hapa hobby, and click on enter, nani inajiongeza. So hapa tuta target this span tag using ID. Let's place static data first. Use this one. Then I save it. Then I go look at the result. So this is our structure, the structure of the website, HTML only. So far, any questions? Kila mtu ana get? Pardon? No questions. So we continue. We go to CSS. Go to CSS. So CSS, I'll add it in another file. Itaiweka in my HTML. I don't want to mix up codes in your HTML peke yake. So I created another CSS file over here. So that's where I'll be styling all my code. So connect this styles.css file with my index.html file. What do? We use the link. Link. What are we linking? We are linking a CSS file. So rel equals to Arial equals to style sheet, meaning we are linking a CSS file. Then where is the CSS file located? Is it href or src? I think it's href. Href style.css. Then I close the link. Mnanisikia? Just to confirm. Mnanisikia? You can react. Oh, nice. So tulikuwa tuna connect the style, the CSS file. So to connect it, we use the link tag. The type of file we are linking is a CSS file. Then the location of the file you here by using href. save it. So the first thing that you're gonna style is centering this text. Sitaki tukae sana kwa CSS. Our main goal is JavaScript. So tutaenda kwa the style tag, style file. Let me look what do we want style h1, h2, h2. Everything is centered up hivi. No, everything is centered. The text, the inputs, the buttons. So how do we center? How do we center? To center them, now this style known as margin. You see, everything is inside the body tag. This body tag, and everything inside the body tag is centered. So I'll target the body tag using body because the body is already a tag exists. Sitaweka full dot body tag, nitaweka tu the plain body. Then to center them, natumia style margin out. Let me check what not what. Then let me do something. Left. Let me use flex. Then I place them in a column. Flex, display flex. Then flex direction, column. Then justify content, enter item, line item. Yeah. So this is what you'll use. Display flex, then make sure they're in a column, then justify content center, align item center. Nilikuwa najaribu na margin inakataa. Sometimes it works. I don't know why. CSS sometimes it's normally confused. So nimei center using flex. Then I need to add some space between the items. So I'll use gap. Gap is 30 pixels. Save it. Yep, iko sawa. Tukishamalizana na hizi, so we design our container, our profile card container. So I'll add a class in the container, the profile card. Class profile, and the CSS. I target the profile class name dot profile. The items are also centered. Now yet it's not centered, it's lying on the left of the container. To center them, I'll also use flex. Then you put this one. Save it. I reduce the gap 5. I remove the gap. Profile near here hapa. This pink items inside here, it's the profile card. Add this color and Ninyo HT. Ninyo. Maybe back there. Yeah, div. Then I think you iko sawa. Column enter. Ours is a little bit bigger. Nikijaribu margin, nope, no work. So let me add a background color. Give me a pink first. Save it. Okay. Then width, I do 350 pixels. Yes, proper element, ya div, the profile yenye itakuwa ina hold this pink profile height. This ndio, pardon. Let me finish first, then I share it. Naituma site. Then for the radius, 25 pixels. Let me center the items. Then it will reflect. Margin out in not what. Yes, yeah, it's recording. Ndio hiyo sasa. Anything I've left out? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Styling this the name, age, and hobbies. Name. Hapa naweza weka direct name because we are not inside the JavaScript. Then fun, like age under 18, it's normal. Then hobbies in bold. Name, age, hobbies. I'll see, maybe it's your nini. Go check your speakers. Output your sound. Maybe you picked the wrong one. So tuende kwa CSS, search name, font size is a little bit larger. Let me just pick large. Okay, it's appearing. Large ionyeshi kitu. Just add 3, save it. Then it's in bold, font weight, bold. Save it, it's bold. Next, page. Page. The font weight is also bold. Bold print peke yake ndio bold. Nothing, no other styling. Then dot hobby. Yep, I think inaonekana. Bold, bold, bold. Unakuanga na extra bold, not bold. Let me double all the bold is appearing. Good. I think that's much better. So I think tumemalizana na CSS. But hii inakwanga hidden. So this profile card is hidden. And the styling for profile card ni ndio hii hapa. So the default styling is supposed to be display none. I save it, ndio imepotea. Sinaona pia hapa hivyo na refresh, the default is display none. Display none. So that when I add the inputs, then I click on create profile, it changes from display none to display block. And I save it here. Not display block, display flex. Now I'm gonna display block, display flex. So the default one is none. None. For us, we have flex. We are using flex. So hatutatumia display block. We'll use display flex. So when we click on the create profile, change to display flex. Okay, now. Yeah. So for the purpose of completing our project, we'll have it on display flex first, then display none tutaweka for when we are completing it, when we are almost done with it. So let me share, tell you watumie hii code here, the static, the structure and the styling. Hiyo nimetuma, inaweza pitia pitia. So the next thing ni Java. Java not connected to our HTML. I give you 5 minutes to go through the structure kama maybe, so that maybe if you're following along, msiache nyuma, nisiende mbio sana. 5 minutes by 8:50 ni open nini yo? Or this one, CSS. So at 8:50 tunaendelea na Java. So you can be going through this one. Include the structure. As tunaendelea, anyone has a question? Any question? Or you go through the structure of the website, you'll be familiar with it. For those who are following along, your HTML and mostly HTML. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Let's confirm on page, then it just config, yeah page, then you comment that it doesn't run, so it's normal niende kwa HTML page inafungaje fold ya HTML inafunga b kweli ama Yeah, inakuanga B. I think they're the same. Hapa kwa result inakuja the same. Inakuanga na ingine strong. Oh, B and strong ni the same. So rather than using span tutumie hiyo for simplicity. Tutumie B, meaning bold. Bold for close information. Yep. So let's nitoe hapa style to B. They reduce our lines of code by using the bold tag, using just this bold tag that has a few lines of code on our CSS optimization. So next, we're going to JavaScript. So in our HTML, it doesn't recognize any JavaScript file, so we need to link it to this index.js file to enable us to add functionality. So tutaenda hapo chini sana after we are through with all the structure of our website and HTML and everything. And at the bottom hapo hivyo, just where the body closing tag is, go at the top of it, hapo to juu. Then introduce a tag known as style, not style, the script tag. Script tag, open and close it. Then inside the opening script tag, we need to tell HTML where the script or where the JavaScript file is located. Script inamaanisha JavaScript. Yeah, scripting, Java, from Java. Is the JavaScript file located at the root? So we simply just add index.js. So this one line of code interconnects this HTML, this index.js file. When I save, let me now test if it's connected. To test if it's connected, I'll use the alert function. I'll use the alert function. Alert bracket JavaScript and HTML connected. Then I save it. Ndio hii JavaScript and HTML connected, meaning it has worked. Ndio hiyo, meaning index.js and index.html connected using script source index.js script tag. Itawatumia a list of extensions, JavaScript, not JavaScript, VS Code extensions that will make your coding easier. Ya kwanza yenye download ni live server peke yake. After the class, I'll send you some other few ones that will help you out. Hata kunakuanga na AI integrated into VS Code. Let's say if you have an error, it will help you know where the error is. Itawatumia your list so that you check it out and try it. Then next tunaingia Java. Acha nitoe this alert. So tukiangalia in our code, what happened? Who is the main character first? Anza na the most main character. The main character is the button. Take our inputs hapa, name, age, blah blah blah. When we click on the button, ndio ina create all that functionality ya ku add the name in this profile card and to make sure it's from display none make sure it's now visible on the screen. So kuna kitu niliyofunzanga, I don't know if you remember, it's known as an event listener. On click, something happens. So when we click on this create profile button, to get the name from this input, the age, the favorite color, and the hobbies, inaiweka into respective variables and data types, and then it's displaying it on the profile card. Na get up hivyo, click on the button, get the input, store them in a variable, hobbies stored in a list, then display them on the profile card, and make sure change the styling of the profile card from hidden to flex so that it's shown. Yeah, and then if the age is under 18, display you are under 18. If it's over 18, display you are over 18. You are under 18, you're an adult. Yeah. So tutaanza na the button. We are inside the Javascript. How are we going to get to the button? So to get to the button, we use a feature known as document object model. Tuko ndani ya Javascript. So to refer to the HTML file, this HTML file yenye tunaiview saa hii yote, we start with document. Document refers to this HTML file. The index.html penye imekuwa imported inamaanisha document ni hii yote. By saying document, we mean this HTML file. And what do you want to get first? We want to get the button. Document get element. You want to get element by class name or by ID or by name. By name inamaanisha by the tag name. Unaweza take the element by tag name, the input tag, or the button tag, or the paragraph tag. But when you use by name, it's normally ambiguous. It will take all the elements, and we only want one element. So now hapa ni get element with an S. This is element by ID, meaning one element, and we want only one element, the create profile button. So tutatumia document.get element by ID. So this HTML file, we want to get an element, a button, by ID. So we'll have to add an ID to this button element. Nitakuja kwa my HTML file, I introduce an ID equal to create profile. Yeah. ID create profile. Then next, apart from my JavaScript, I will say we are getting an element by ID, and the element ID is create profile. Make sure the spelling is correct. So what I normally do, I just copy the name, then I paste it over here. Create profile. Make sure the spelling is correct. So in the HTML file, get the button element. And how does it make a button? Using the ID. The ID create profile. So currently we have the button element inside our JavaScript file. Nugget, we want to add an event listener. An event listener meaning when we click on this button, some code is run. A lot of code is normally run here. So input, so it in a variable, age, display. So all that code will be run once we click this button. Document, so all of them will be inside the button event. all these actions that are happening will be inside this button event. Let me illustrate it for you through code. So we are adding an event. The event is clicking on the button. So add event listener. What event listener are we adding? So when we add event listener into bracket, what event listener are we adding? Is it about animation cancel, blur, cancel, play, click? We are adding the click event. This is how we add the event listener on a button. If you click on a button login, submit your details, then inakupeleka to the home page. When you click logout, inakutoa to the logout part, the home page inakupeleka to the sign up page. So hizo zinakuanga event listener. So hizi buttons zote share invite, then iko na an event listener. When I click on it, inatoa this pop-up. So this pop-up is normally display none, but the code exists. Then on click, display block or maybe flex so that it's visible to the screen. Also this close, this X, the button, it's an event listener. Iko na event listener. When I click on it, ina change the styling of this card. This card, invite your people, blah blah blah. Invite people. When I click on this X, it changes the style to display block to display none, inakuwa hidden. These buttons zote ziko na event listener. So for us, we are creating an event listener for this button. When we click on it, get all the data inside this input, store them in a variable, place them in this card, and make sure the card is visible. It's not now hidden. Yep. Details. Right color, gray. Hobbies. My. Oh, maybe it's my internet. Internet speed. Imechange. I hope haitasumbua. But mnaelewa vile I'm going through the process. HTML file, we have retrieved the button. We are adding an event listener. The event listener is click. Then what do you want to happen when what action do you want to happen when we click on the button? What happen ndio the code inaanza. So after click, the click iko inside the quotation. So event ni click, then after we weke comma, then space, then hapo penye tutaweka next ni all the actions that will be happening, the changing of color, changing of styling, adding of variables. So tutaweka inside a function. So for now, don't worry much about what the function is, but what I can tell you what a function is, it's a block of code that runs once it's called. It runs a number of code within it. For now, don't worry about functions. We'll tackle it either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But for now, jua hivi ndio an event listener is normally added. We'll tackle functions later. So hivi ndio inakuwa added. Function to bracket. then into curly braces, open and close, then within curly braces, finya enter. So hapa ndani ndio yenye tutaweka tutaweka all our JavaScript. All the actions will be executed. So within the click event. So when we click on it, this function will run all this code. Code ya change the color, taking out the input, displaying this card. So hiyo ndio kazi ya function, hiyo function ndio itafanya hiyo kazi yote. For now, don't worry much about the function. Just understand this is how an event listener button inakuwa created. Then hapo ndani ndio penye tutaweka code yetu yote. Ndio penye all these actions will be executed. Tuka kuna action nyingine that's outside clicking the button, haitakuwa hapa ndani. Tuta create another event listener yake. So hii ni about create profile button. If you had another button, we'll go through the same process. Hivyo we create another event listener ya the other button. Button 2 maybe. But for us, our instance, we have one button. Here these other buttons, it has the same event listener here. So that when we click on it, inaleta hizi vitu zote, maybe retrieving this from the database, just when we click on the button. So when we click on the button, what do you want to do? The first thing that we want to do when we click on the button, we want to retrieve the details from this input. I hope net yangu hailag. So step 1, we retrieve the details from the input tag. So how do we retrieve it? First, the first thing, we'll have to get the HTML file. To get the HTML file, we use document. Meaning this HTML file that is connected to it. Here we are getting the HTML file. Then inside the HTML file, we want to get the enter your name input tag. So get element by ID. So we'll have to give this input tag an ID to identify it uniquely on JavaScript. So ndio hii enter your name, tutaipea ID equal into bracket username. Then I go to my JavaScript, the HTML file, we are getting an element by ID, and the element ID is username. And what do we want to get from this input element? What do we want to get? Sharp after the input element, your username, this input element. You already have it in JavaScript. So what do you want to do with it? You want to get the value that's inside here. You want to get the value, this leno. You want to get it. How do I get the value? I just add a full stop, then dot value. Equal to document dot get element by ID. Yes. Or username. Username is the ID are the input tag. Yeah, he enter your name. It's the ID of the input tag, enter your name here. Create your profile, input, enter your name, ID, username. So we want to retrieve this tag input so that we can retrieve the value inside here. So need to put the username, ID, then in JavaScript, HTML file, are getting the input element, and that input element ID is user. Then we have the inputs, the enter your name input here. Enter your name input. So what do you want to do with that element? I want to get the value that's inside it. This is the value that I want to get. To get the value, I just add dot value. Show you that this is getting the value, let me console.log it. Hapo ndio console.log inatusaidia to see if this code ina retrieve the value of this input. So let me do something here. Name. Read. Toka vibaya sana. So this document, the HTML file, get the input tag with ID username, ndio hii hapa. Hii ya kwanza line 11 na retrieve this input. Then dot value get the value inside the input element. So to know if we are retrieving this value, tumie console.log. Console.log into bracket document to get element by id.value. Did someone explain? Let me click on inspect. I open the developer console. Your input. I add the name. Then to retrieve the name, I'll have to click on the button because console.log will only run if I click the create profile button. You're here. Yeah, when I click on it, it receives the name in receive the input. Nuggets. I continue before come to a confused here. If you're confused, sema tu. Pardon. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, hii inanisaidia kuona kaa if this document get element by ID is working. Nikiweka tu hivi, then I click on it, don't know if it's going to work. So now we don't know if it's working, if it's retrieving this pick pan from the input. When I click on it, it's supposed to retrieve a pan. But when I click on it, how do I know it's retrieving? I need a way to know that it's retrieving this element using this line number 3 code. So ndio maana nitatumia console.log log out the result ya hii code. Result ya hii code. Ndio nitaweka console.log document to get element by ID. And I click on it in a logout, the document to get element by ID. The logout line number 3, meaning nafaa nitoe console.log, meaning it's working. So I can remove the console.log because console.log has verified that line number 3 is working. So that's a use of console.log to verify if some code is outputting the correct thing. So this is outputting the correct thing. Nuggets. Anyone has a question so far? Go to the left. No one. So we use the same step that tumefanya hapa kwa username. So we want to get the age. Tunaenda tupea the age input an ID so that we can uniquely identify this age input, the age input. Tutaipea ID of age, ID of age. And I can only have one ID in a HTML file. Sifai kuweka tena anywhere else ID age. It's only supposed to be one. So I save the file, niende kwa Javascript. I want to get the value of the age input. So I'll refer to the HTML file using document, then get element by ID, prepare ID, age. Now we have the age input. And what do we want to do with the age input? Do we want to change the styling, or do we want to get the value of the input? We want the value of the input. So nitaweka dot value. So when I add age, I 22, then I click on create profile. How will we know that it's working? So I'll use console.log, log out this value of age, but one if it's truly retrieving this. So console.log ni ya test. Console.log, test kind of work, and I close it, then I save it. Enter my name, then age, name, age. Then I log out the age. Click console.log on the age exact. When I retrieve the age, meaning document or get element by ID age, in a retrieve the value of this input. So meaning also line 4 is correct in this work. You do the same to input and also hobbies, ID, also color. The color input, and the pair for the hobbies, okay, ID just within the tag ID, also hobbies. Make sure you get the spelling correctly. Save, uende kwa HTML yako, no Java, document, get element by ID. We want to get the color. Then we want the value. Then the next one is document get element by ID. We want the hobbies. Tunaweza weka single quote will still work. The value. To verify here hobbies the single quote type work, use console.log, console.log, document get element by ID values, so that when I add the hobbies, yes, I click on it. Is it retrieving really? I don't think so. Console.log document get element by ID hobbies. Correct. spelling is correct. Create prof. Oh, I didn't save the file. Ndio hii hapa. Testing if this works. Click on it and I log to this console. It's printing to the console. So meaning document will get element ID hobbies is also working using single nilizipata hapa ndio hizi. Now we are able to retrieve it. So far kwa pamoja, when you click on it, we are retrieving the input. But we want to display this input hapa kwa this card, the pink card. We want to display them hapa hivi. So how will we display them? So to display them, we have to first save these elements inside a variable so that we can be able to reuse them hapa kwa this pink card. Tutazistock kwa variable. We can't let them just stay plainly hivi. We have to save them so that we'll have the ability to reuse them much easily rather than referring to them using this long method. So nitakuja tu hapa at the beginning niseme const username const username equals to the value of the username. May get up. So I use the same method up as the const age equals to the value of the agent. Const meaning const color equals to the value of the color input on hobbies equals to. So let's specify yes, yes, yes. To help us find out if our code was working. Like print hapa hivi. If this is retrieving the value from the input, it's truly retrieving. Tuandike tu mavitu. So console ndio maana niliweka console.log this code log out the value or the output of this code. So sahi hatuhitaji because we know that this code is running correctly. This one is running correctly. But now we also need it to find out if they are being stored in the variable. They are individual variables. So kitu nitafanya nitatumia console.log username times console.log age console.log color. We want to see if they are really being saved in our variable, or maybe kuna an error mahali. So console.log will output the error also. Save it. So when I add the element, the items over here, or the input values, then I click on it, it's supposed to log out. What is it supposed to log out? Question. This is it a log nini for the console. What will it print? It will print the inputs zenye nimeiweka hapa. Click on it, the log hizi hapa hizi zote. So rather than reusing this long statement, document get value by ID, then dot value kila mahali, I'll now be using the variable because he may store the output of this code into the variable. Rather than reusing this long code, I'll only be using the short page, color, hobbies, keyboard. Think maybe there's an instant I need to use the username 30 times rather than using document.getElementById username.value 30 times. I'll only use the variable name 30 times. So that if I want to change document, maybe I have changed the ID to from username to first name, it I change 30 times. I'll only change it once with the help of variables. So variables simplifies our work. May get up. So meaning these variables is in our work. They are working correctly. So for now, I won't need this console.log because I've already tested and I've seen it work. So let me remove the console.log. I can just let it stay. He may comment. This is how a comment is done. To planting food. This code will be assumed. Height run. I assume. So this one will be skipped. So the next step ni we were able to retrieve these items. We are able to retrieve these items. What's the next thing? To show them in this pink card. We want to display them in this pink card. How do we do that? Display the profile details. So it's easy. The same pamphlet method to retrieve items on the input. The same method that we use to change or insert these values, this card. The same method. So to retrieve the name, let me zoom. Yeah, console. So what's the first thing that we're going to do? The first thing that we want to do is after getting the first name, and then a first name. After getting the first name, storing it in a variable, I want to display it on the card profile hapa kwa custom. So nitakuja hapa kwa profile card, I add an ID to the paragraph tag that contains the name. Key tag, then niweke ID, sorry. ID nitaweka profile name. Acha nitumie. Take a username because username is already used up. So I'll use profile name. Profile name. Then nitatoa hii Andrew because we no longer need it. In is static. So we'll be now adding it dynamically. Acha nitoe Andrew. Itabaki hivyo empty. Javascript will insert the text hapa ndani. Javascript ndio ita insert dynamic. So nimeipea ID. So now I can reference it in Javascript. Ishatoa the name hapo hivyo. So hiyo ishatoka. You can see the result on the right. I go to my code line 13. Say inside my HTML file document, I want to get the paragraph tag that has an ID profile name. So get element by ID into bracket, then into quote profile. So meaning now I have the paragraph tag here profile. And what do I want to do with that element? Do I want to change the style? Do I want to get the value? Do I want to change the value? I want to change the value. How do I change the value? I'll say .text content, meaning the text content within this paragraph tag of which is empty. I want to change the text content to be the text content be equal to user. Save it. Get up before I run the code. Get the paragraph tag of the profile name, then the text content. Text content inakwanga hapo between the paragraph. Text content. Ndio text content. Create. Yeah, this is text content. This white, the white one, text content within the body. We want to change the text content to, even though I change document to blah 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 text content equal sign, meaning we are changing the value to username. Na username ndio hii hapa. I save it. Then I go here to my code, make here my name. Then when I click on it, what's going to happen? It's going to retrieve the username. After retrieving it, it will run this code number 13, line number 13, meaning reassign the value of the text content paragraph tag to this name over here. I click on it, here in the region. Change it to, let me remove the N. I click on the button. Here. Now our code is starting to be dynamic. Nugget. I hope I'm got pamoja. So the process that we used on line number 13, tutatumia on this other age and colors and hobbies. For colors here tutaifanya kando. Let me first do age na hobbies. So age na hobbies you can convert them into a list if you want, but for the sake of simplicity, acha tuweke tu hivyo direct. Then I'll convert it into a list later, so you are confused. It will still work. So take age, document, get element, first add IDs. So ID hapa tutaweka line number 22, tutaweka wapi ID? Because we have a bold tag, a paragraph tag, and a span tag. What is our target? Our target on JavaScript, it's not the word age, the number that's our target. And the number is between the span tag. And to refer to this number, tutaweka ID kwa hii span tag, tutaweka kwa the paragraph tag. Paragraph tag itatuletea hiyo. And we only want one, the age number. Hiyo ndio tunataka to make dynamic. So inside the span tag, tutaweka ID profile page. Make sure you look in your code. You don't add the same IDs. IDs must be different. So hapa kuna age, it already exists. So nikaweka profile page. So let me copy it so that I don't mistake on the spelling. Document get element type ID. Document get element ID. Bracket profile page. Now I have this number 12 tag dot text content equal sign age. Age is a number. Age inakuwa retrieved as a number because our input is a number. So we can choose to convert it to a string, but when take a number directly, it will still convert it to a string for us. So si lazima we convert it to a string, but to convert a number to a string, natumia to the function string bracket the number. it is age. So it will convert this number 12 to 13 a string inside a quote. But JavaScript will do it for us. So it will convert the number directly to string, but it can't do the vice versa. Haiwezi convert a string to a number. I hope na get up. It can only convert a number, but not a string number. Then next ni colors. Let's tufanye colors right. So tuweke the hobbies, follow the same process. Copy document, get element by id. Let me give the hobbies. We are not targeting the word hobbies, we are targeting the list of hobbies. Do we have when you take id, this is profile hobby. Profile hobbies. Copy the id name. We are getting element by id profile hobbies, and we want it to be hobbies. And we variable. That yes, yes, so here. This is the bold tag that has bolded these hobbies. Then we have the list of hobbies that we want to make dynamic. Static. So we'll be targeting this tag, like this one, inside the span tag. Another use case of span. We want to target something using JavaScript or CSS alone, tutatumia the span tag. Sawa. So the next work hobbies. Let's test if it's working. Let me add the name, age, color, green. Then let me click on the button. Yeah, and age, hobbies, testing if this works. Yeah, it's working. It's working. They are now dynamic. So I can remove the static data. Naweza toa hizi zenye niliweka as a placeholder. Okay. A minute, acha niangalie kitu basi. Okay, nimerelocate router yangu, acha nione kama itafanya. Unanisikia? Okay, nice. So where were we? It's working, it's retrieving the data and it's pasting it in the profile card by clicking on the button. When you click on the button, document get element by ID getting the button, it's adding the event listener. The event is click. So when it clicks, it fires up all these actions. This code inakuwa executed, and executed once by the help of this function of which tumesema will tackle it later. So weshika to the syntax. This is how it's written. Function, bracket, then curly braces, everything that we want the button to run. So next, naenda kwa age. First not take a age is 2, you are an adult, age 11, you are under 18. So hiyo inatumia, so it's using something known as the if else statement. So if age is above 18, then we need to display you are an adult. If age is below 18, display you are under 18. So to go about that, color, data for color. Make sure I have added the color part. So colors inaenda kwa hii nini, kwa nini this container. So we are not displaying it. Hapa nimeifanya wrong. Let me remove it. So tuanze na color kwanza alafu ndeka page. Our container, I want you guys to look here carefully. Our container iko na a static color. The static color is pink. We want the color to be dynamic based on the input. So kitu tutafanya, we've already retrieved the color input ndio hii color. So what we do, we change the color based on the input. So we change the styling, this container, the profile container. Div plus profile, change styling yake ya background. So tutakuja hapa kama on line 17, I say document dot get element by id. Tuna get element gani? What element are we targeting? This container, profile card container, because we want to change the color dynamic using Javascript. So we give it an ID. Let me just give it prof, ID prof. It can have the same name as the class because it's within the same class. So hii haina shida. This one is still okay. So ID profile, we are getting this element, this container element, for JavaScript. Now we have the container element. What do we want to do with that container element? We want to change the background styling. And to change the background style, change styles in JavaScript. You remember the style tag. So hapa in JavaScript, hizo tags hazitakuwa na larger than or greater than. Tutaweka tu dot style. We are changing the style. Styling tuna change hivi using JavaScript. We have the element here hapa, profile container dot style, then dot the styling we want. Now tukiweka dot style, then another full stop dot, then what comes after Unaona in CSS any type of styling hapa hivi, any type of styling tunaweka dot background color, dot width, dot border radius, display, dot text direction, tunaweza ziweka hapa background color, background color, background image. Now we have access to all CSS styles. Let me repeat. We have the container element here, the pattern through ID. Now we have it in Java. Our target or our goal is to change the style. Changing the styling in JavaScript, add dot style, then dot the type of style we want. Nugget. So the type of style that you want is background color. But in JavaScript, this CSS style iko na hyphen, na tutaweka hyphen. Tutatoa the hyphen, then the word, the letter that comes after it itakuwa in capital letter. Background color, background, then the other word that is capital letter. This is in CSS, color, this is in JavaScript. That's the only difference. That's the only one. I get up style, then we have access to all CSS types of style. We are changing the background color. So if a style has an hyphen, remove the hyphen and make the character next to the hyphen in capital letter. Take up a small letter, haita run, haita change the background color. So what color do you want to change the background to? You want to change it to the input value, the input value, the hapa color. So background color will be equal to, yes, yes, ID profile, do hapa ID. So we have access to the CSS style in here. We want to change it to the color of the input value, here color. Save it. Now we will be able to change the color of this container through the help of this code. Let me change. Let me add the input color yellow. So it's supposed to change to the color yellow. When we click on it, it's supposed to execute this code. Change the profile container background color. So let me click on it. I hope it works. Yes, it works. So we can use pink as the default one. Pink the default. But hata we don't need a default background color code. The default style itakuwa hidden. It'll only be shown. Pardon. And this style to CSS. So this is the profile style. Yeah, so JavaScript. Continue. Go on. Background color. You can leave it equal the default type of color, or you can remove it. So for us, tuliweka as a placeholder to help us separate the structure. But do we really need it right now? I don't think so. So I'll just remove it. Just but I don't want to remove it first because we are still in the process of developing. They remove after we have developed the page, then we go to it. So tuiache for now, then we take up a comment to remove background color. Remove background color. Yes. Pardon, pardon. Oh, mngeniambia mapema. Imeisha ama bado iko? Imeenda? Iko. Na saa hii bado iko? Is it still making the noise? Pulling straight. Na saa hii? Ooh. Saa hii iko sawa? Anyone to confirm? Oh, poleni, sikuwa najua. Pardon? Basi it's an error in the code mahali. Kuna ka error umefanya. Try using a console.log ama it's the spelling of the color cause our input inatumia the color type. So make sure the spelling is correct, that's available in CSS colors. Ama kuna mahali umemess hapo. Spell yes. What if I? Oh, hiyo ni ya kwa CSS, styling it in CSS. Kwa profile. Oh yeah, you can remove this class name. Then kutumia styling, so now nikisave styles inapotea. So using we want to style using the ID, we can still reference it but not using the full stop, tutatumia hash. EV hash, meaning this is an ID, this is a class name, this is a plain tag. The body is a plain tag. This one's a class, ref by class, reference by ID. Then this one is reference by the tag. So you can choose to use the class name or the ID, whichever is easier. Hapa kwa profile name, the name, rather than using the class name, because we've introduced JavaScript, so we are optimizing our code. But if it's okay with you, you can still leave it hapo hivyo. So name. We are referencing it by ID. So ndio hiyo profile name. There, ndio hiyo. This one's by ID, by class name, by tag. So tumemalizana na input ya color. Mmeelewa vile color ina change. Document.get element by ID. Tuna get the profile ID, ndio hii. Then we are accessing the styles of the profile container. Then we are changing it. We are replacing it with the value of the input color. Brown. When I click on it, it will run this number 17 and the rest of the code will change to brown. Age is empty. The name is already there. Hobbies is also empty. So now next we work on the age. We work on the age. So age nimesema it will use the if statement. If age is below, yes, naweza. So age inatumia if statement. If age is above 18, you are an adult. If age is below 18, you are not an adult. Naweza change. So what I normally do, I write down the logic that I want. So nikiandika the logic that I want, it will be much easier to write the code. So the logic that I want is if the age that I've retrieved from the input is below 18, then display on profile card. On profile card, you are under 18! Exclamation mark. But if age is over 18, display you are an adult on the profile card. You are an adult. Now get the logic behind it. So here tutatumia something known as the if-else statement. Tunaweza tumia the if statement peke yake or the if-else. If-else statement. Nakuanga na the if statement peke yake, then if-else, then kuna if then else. If then if then else. Yani ifs mingi then else. Yeah, I think ni hivyo. If else, if then else. Yeah. Iko correct. These three. So for today, tutatumia the if else. So this is how we'll be doing it. So if what, even though tunaandika, this is the syntax. If what, if into brackets, the age. Yeah, the age yenye tume retrieve inside the input. Sina hapa tumetumia age, hapa tumetumia age, hapa tumetumia age. We've used it 2 times. So if we want to change something, we just change it once. We won't change it twice. So if the age that we've retrieved from the input is, if it's greater than or less than. So if the age is greater than, we'll use greater than 18 or greater than or equal to. Yeah, greater than, even though inaandikwa greater than or equal to 18. Meaning it is inclusive of the age 18. Nikiweka tu hivi greater than 18, haita include the 18, itaanzia 19. So adult itaanzia 19. But nikiweka hapa equal sign, adult itaanzia directly from 18. If the age is 18, if age is greater than or equal to 18, into curly braces, if space into brackets, close brackets, space, then into curly braces, then press enter. If age is greater than 18, we want to display you are an adult. So could display hapa you are an adult, we'll have to get this paragraph tag. And we'll have to get it by ID. So document.get element by ID. Tulipea ID kweli? Nope. So we give it an ID. What will I name it? Seme info, just info. A simple one. Info. It's informing you. So info, nikuje hapa kwa Javascript. We are getting the element info. This element, you are under 18. And what do you want to do with it? We want to change the text content. Text content to be equal to you are an adult. Na get hapo. So if in ndio if statement peke yake. Ikiwa if. May get this if. So I run it, ndio muone. So let me run it. Age nieke 18. Name acha nieke these ones. Let me click on it. You are an adult. Yenye ilikuwa before ndio hii. You are under 18. Under 18. This was the static one. Hii ni static. When I refresh, ndio hii you are under 18. Ndio hii hapa, the static one. But when I click on the button, acha nieke age 18. When I click on the button, ita change to you are an adult. Ndio hii hapa. Document.get element by ID text content, change it to you are an adult. Hapa if age is greater than or equal to, nikitoa this equal to, it means 18 is exclusive. So adult haitaanzia 18. Let me click on the button again, or let me save the file. Let me save the JavaScript file. Then age nieke 18. So the default one is under 18. When I click on the button, but itabaki under 18. So meaning 18 is exclusive when I use the greater than symbol only. Nikiongeza the equal sign, meaning 18 is inclusive. Age 18. Ndio hiyo, you are an adult. Mmeget vile nimefanya hapo. if we run this code, if this is true, if this is true, if it's false, we don't run it. To skip, we skip this code. This one is not run. We go to the next line, code zenye sasa itakuwa huku chini. If this one is false, tutaenda hapa this line of code, tutaskip the code that's within it. But if it's true, hapa ndani ikiwa true, we'll execute this one. So what happens if it's not true? If the age is not greater than 18. So tuta add another else. We'll add an else statement. Tutaweka hapa, sina hapa penye the curly braces imefunga, add a space, then add the word else. Meaning, if the age is not above 18, it's false, we run this else statement. Now the else statement will not run if the age is this one returns true. If age is true, ni ukweli it's above 18. If it's true it's above 18, then else will not execute. The code that is inside here else haita execute. But if it's false, else will, then it will truly execute. It executes this code inside here. So let me write the alternative code that will run if the age is not truly above 18. So meaning it's below 18. You can choose to use else, or you can choose to use another if statement. Acha nimalizie else kwanza, then I show you how to use another if statement. A changing document, so it's the same code, so I'll just copy it hapa hivi, but we'll change the text content to you are not an adult, ama you are not an adult. Now get vile this one is working. If true, then run this one and assume the else. Assume it, don't run it. But if this one is false, age is not greater than, then run the else statement. Run here chini. I save it. Age nieke 13. I save it. You are not an adult. Age nikieka 43, then I click on the button, you are an adult. That's if else statement. If true, then run this one. If false, run the else one. So this is one way you can do it. The other way, unaweza toa the else statement, you simply just add another if statement. If age is less than 18. Tunatumia less than meaning it's exclusive. Tukiweka less than or equal to, itamaanisha we are including also 18 as an underage. But we don't want to include 18 as an underage. We want to exclude it. So nitatumia tu less than 18 into curly braces, document dot get element by ID. We are getting the element info. Then dot text content, we want to change the text content to you are not an adult. You are not an adult. So this one will also work. Ka hii ni ukweli, it will execute the one that's at the center of inside the curly braces. Ka si ukweli, it's greater than 18, assume this code, don't run it. If this one is true, run it. If it's not true, assume it. Meget. So you can choose to use two if statements, or you can choose to use the else statement. It's up to you. See which one fits your code better, or you feel you're comfortable doing. So tumebaki na nini? Mmeelewa if else statement? If peke yake ndio hii hadi hapa. Then kuna if else. If else ni hii yote. If then else, we'll do it later when we are tackling other projects. Meget. The if else. I'll give you an assignment. So we go to the next type of style. We remove first the static code. Static code tutoe hii you are under 18. We don't need it because our code is now dynamic. It will automatically add the information for us. Age acha ibaki. We remove the default age number 12. Hobbies, we remove the default one. What else is remaining? Yeah, hiding the container. When I refresh, so now it's still showing. We don't want it to show. We want it to only show only when we click on the button. So how do we go about that? So tutaweka the default type of styling. Tutaenda kwa our CSS. Go to your CSS. The default style, as we look on our result, on our final result kwa the link I sent, the default one when you load the page, haina the profile card, it's hidden. So nitaenda kwa my CSS, go to the profile card style, ndio hii #profile, display nita remove from flex nieke none, meaning I don't want to display anything. So no, it's not being displayed. This is my code. Ndio hii nime refresh nika save. It's not displaying it. But when I click on it, it's also not displaying it. So I want to execute code to change this style from display none to display flex, because that's the original display type of style that's supposed to be. So nitafanya aje? Someone to help me out there. How I'll change the styling from display none to flex. Profile yetu iko na ID ndio hii hapa, so we'll use the ID profile. So how am I going to go about that? Anyone mwenye ako confident ameelewa to help me out to change the styling from block from none to flex. Anyone, somebody, anybody, any trial. Hakuna mtu anataka kujaribu. No one. So basi, let me show you. So we'll use document referring to the HTML file .get element by ID. The ID is profile. Into quotes, profile. Then dot style. We are changing the style. And what type of style do you want to change? The display style. You want to change it from flex to from none to flex. Save it. So once I click the button, it'll change the display none to display flex. I refresh. I click on the button, ndio here. Let me refresh. This is the default style when it's loaded. Click on the button. ndio hiyo imekuja. Any question? I think the project is done. Sidhani kuna kitu ingine. Oh, the shadow. Kuna hii style ya shadow. Do you know how to add a shadow styling? To add a shadow inakuanga hivi. Where is the profile card? Yeah, profile shadow ni box shadow. Yeah, box shadow on the left ama ni right. On the left you want it to be 0, then ni top bottom. I don't remember how I do it. I normally use a tool ama a W3 school to help me map out the shadow box, CSS shadow. Ya ndio hii shadow. Multiple shadows. Kunga a little bit confusing. Text shadow na box shadow. Ini text shadow. Wanted to do the box shadow. The box shadow. Oh, box shadow meaning take the shadow a bottom 10 pixels and to the right 10 pixels. Then the color, specify the color. Bottom to the right. This one is blur. Then the color. For box shadow 2 pixels to the bottom and 2 pixels to the right. Then blur it. I don't want it to be a solid shadow. I want it to be a little blurred kama hapo hivyo. I'll do 10 pixels. Then it's black, a black shadow. Yep, ndio hiyo. Ndio hiyo shadow. So take the shadow to the bottom 2 pixels, to the right 2 pixels. Then make it blurred. Nikitoa the blur effect inakuwa a solid shadow. Tunaona solid. But when I re-add it, na add the natural blurring. So find the question about a JavaScript. Achana na CSS. Any question about JavaScript? No, it's only 28 lines of code. Actually, it's less than 28. Yes. Oh, yeah, preference. So now since we've chose to go to style it, you are using the class name. Class equals to profile. So you have to use dot profile. But for us, we've chosen, we don't want to add class names. We'll use the ID to reference the tag. So we'll use hash profile to reference it. Hapa hivi. So you can either use a class name or an ID. They both still work fine. Any other question?